To the conference finals, Kevin Garnett, Sam Cassell, and they had Latrell Sprewell and our colleague Wally Zerbiak on that team.
Wally Wonder.
Oh, we've seen that before, haven't we?
Karl-Anthony Towns faced off against his former team Minnesota Timberwolves for the first time since being traded to the New York Knicks in the offseason. In Sunday's preseason game, Towns delivered a double-double performance as the Knicks secured a 115-110 win over Timberwolves at Madison Square Garden.
Towns driving on Gobert in the lane, got the bucket.
Oh, and he flexed on him. So the play has picked up. Don't call me a sweet shooting big man. Call me a bad man on my way to the
The one seed a season ago added Caruso and Hartenstein. Oh, Towns knocking down Minot. Hits the three from straight on. Highlight.
Towns has got a young man in front of him, and he's going to discard him pretty quickly. Little jab step forward. He did that in the first.
The matchup was emotionally charged, with both Towns and Timberwolves coach Chris Finch acknowledging the strange feeling of competing against each other. Finch, who coached Towns for 3 seasons in Minnesota, admitted it felt weird to see his former player in a different uniform. Let's see what Timberwolves' beat reporter Chris Hine tweeted, Chris Finch on Karl-Anthony Towns. It was a little weird for sure seeing him out there in a different uniform. Looks good on him. He played well. But yeah, it's like a death in the family in some ways. You got to make it through that first year, and everything is going to be a little odd.
Certainly, I think the most important thing in my relationship with him and our time together was just how gracious he was and welcoming and accommodating and open and coachable, like right off the bat. I think it kind of set the tone for me and for our environment. For a guy who's faced so much kind of change in his career at that point in time, he didn't have to be that way. So performance-wise, one of the most skilled players I ever coached, just no doubt about it. He's an incredibly talented player, did a lot of.
Before the matchup, Towns said, yeah, it's going to feel weird. This Sunday is definitely going to be strange. Let's see what Towns said after match.
It did it much easier for me. We got an amazing group of guys in this locker room, super intelligent, high IQ guys. Obviously, the talent speaks for itself. So to be able to adjust to this new offense is something that's really been beneficial to have guys like JB, Josh Hart's been amazing, Mikal. OG's been fantastic. I mean, everybody from the top to the bottom of the roster has been a huge help to me.
The former Kentucky standout spent 9 seasons with the Timberwolves after being selected as the #1 overall pick in the 2015 draft. Last season, he played a key role in leading Finch's team to the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota parted ways with the star forward in a 3-team trade that brought Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle to the Timberwolves. In his first game against his former team, Towns delivered a stellar performance. He tallied 16 points on 5 of 13 shooting, including 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. The 4-time All-Star also grabbed 16 rebounds and recorded 3 steals in just over 29 minutes, showcasing his all-around impact on the game. This performance aligns with Towns' preseason form for the Knicks. In 3 appearances, he has averaged 17 points per game on 35% shooting from the field, including 22.2% from beyond the arc. His presence on the boards has been particularly notable, averaging 10.7 rebounds per game, along with 2 steals. The trade that brought Towns to New York was part of the Knicks' strategy to bolster their center position, especially with Mitchell Robinson sidelined until 2025 due to ankle surgery. Towns' arrival is expected to significantly enhance the Knicks' title hopes, potentially forming a formidable pick-and-roll duo with star guard Jalen Brunson. The Knicks now have one of the most balanced starting lineups in the league, with Towns teaming up with strong defenders Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, plus Josh Hart's toughness. This group covers all aspects of the game with top-level talent. Next on the schedule, Towns and the Knicks face the Charlotte Hornets on Tuesday. With 3 preseason games remaining, the team is gearing up for their regular season opener against the defending champions Boston Celtics on October 22nd. As the season progresses, the emotional impact of the trade is likely to linger for both Towns and the Timberwolves. However, his skill set and early performances suggest he could soon endear himself to Knicks fans, potentially carving his name into the franchise's history with sustained success.
Meanwhile, in the NBA, we got our first look at Karl-Anthony Towns in a New York Knicks uniform. He was getting shots up at the team's practice facility. You can see him right there. The trade, which sent Cat to the Knicks, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was finalized on Wednesday afternoon.
Newly acquired New York Knicks star center Karl-Anthony Towns thrived in his home preseason debut at Madison Square Garden. Afterward, he thanked Knicks fans for their warm welcome and expressed excitement for the 2024 to 2025 NBA regular season.
I mean, we're just going to continue to work hard every single day, never take one practice for granted, and just try to every night go out there and be the best version of ourselves.
Towns, who New York officially acquired from the Minnesota Timberwolves earlier this month, made his road preseason debut on Sunday against the Charlotte Hornets. He and the rest of the Knicks starters played sparingly in their team's 111 to 109 victory, resting the entire second half. Let's see Towns' performance.
But he got leaky. Towns! Oh my goodness. I guess we've seen that before. Well. Towns. Oh my goodness.
However, Towns received extended playing time on Wednesday at MSG, with the four-time All-Star showcasing his offensive prowess. Towns tallied a game-high 25 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks in 28 minutes as New York trounced the Washington Wizards 117-94. Let's see what Monica McNutt said.
Oh, Cat, the attempted three-pointers in his Knicks preseason debut. That's more than Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson put up all last year in the regular season. Granted, they're two different players, but it's important that you know that. And as the self-proclaimed greatest shooting big man in NBA history, what could it mean for the Knicks this season? Well, I think we already started to see the impact in just the first preseason game. All right, so let's go into some tape because, you know, we want to take a look at some things. It's so important here that we look at the spacing that Karl-Anthony Towns creates. I'm going to pause this on the catch because you got OG Anunoby in this corner you can't see off screen. But immediately your eye is drawn to all of this activity. This particular play, Cat is going to go to the rim, but if the ball is to swing and there's to be action, you're going to drag all the defense, and it's going to create more lanes, in particular for Jalen Brunson, who we know is so unselfish and will find his teammates. This was that attack. So much room for activities, y'all, just courtesy of what Karl-Anthony Towns brings to the table.
Analysis of the game footage reveals the immediate impact Towns has on the Knicks' spacing. His presence on the court draws defenders away from the paint, creating more lanes for drives and cuts. This was particularly evident in plays involving Jalen Brunson, who now has more room to operate and find open teammates. Following his sensational home debut, Towns, who hails from New Jersey, touched on the emotions running through his mind. Towns said, "Man, the fans have been great. It definitely hits different to be home. It's been a blessing to be here, and I'm excited for all the games I get to play in front of these fans." With the win, New York improved to 2-0 in the preseason, with 3 more contests remaining. With its off-season additions of Towns and star wing Mikal Bridges, the Jalen Brunson-led franchise appears poised to take another step in the Eastern Conference. Let's see what David Dennis said.
What we saw here, they're going to accumulate a lot of wins, basically because of what Karl-Anthony Towns does offensively. It takes a little bit of load off of Jalen Brunson. And what I was most impressed with was what you showed there, that interior passing, him on the post, getting the ball to open players, a lot of that off-ball movement on their first game. When they do that in the regular season, they're really going to be humming. My concern here with the Knicks, though, is playoff Karl-Anthony Towns. Which guy is going to show up? Tangibles, statistically, all that stuff, they look great. But when it comes to playoffs, he's had a history of some bad performances. He only shot 24% from 3 against Dallas last year. We know a few years ago what happened with them in Memphis, where they blew all those leads, and a lot of that was on Karl-Anthony Towns. That is going to be the thing that I would like to see for him, improvement-wise, come playoff time when it comes for them making deep.
However, concerns remain about Towns' playoff performance. His shooting percentages have dipped in previous postseasons, and the Knicks will need him to overcome those struggles to make a deep playoff run. Last season, the Knicks placed second in the East, 50-32, coming within one win of their first conference finals appearance since 2000. Knicks star point guard Jalen Brunson was another standout on Wednesday, tallying 23 points on 70.0% shooting across 23 minutes. During Karl-Anthony Towns' post-game interview, he was asked about his and Brunson's two-man game potential. Let's see what Kendrick Perkins said.
Take on the West. Now Kawhi's hurt again. Paul George isn't there. Russell Westbrook is not there, for better or worse. And now you have Harden, who's ball handling again, trying to figure things out this next season.
So close, but so far away. 9 months ago. All right, Dallas Mavs, y'all. Luka, full court shot.
Heave.
Yeah.
According to Perkins, Town and Brunson are focused on doing whatever it takes to lead New York to success. Towns said, "We work hard every single day to make sure that it looks the best for these fans. So we just want to translate it to winning, and we're doing a great job of doing that." Let's see what Jalen Brunson said.
But he just wants to win.
Can I ask you about Cat now, or are you still going to wait?
You can ask me. Maybe I'll answer. Maybe I won't.
Have you thought about the pick and roll with him and what that might look like?
Yeah, I've thought about it. He's obviously a tremendous player, been in the league for 10 years now. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, he's going to be a great piece once he gets here and everything, and we'll go from there.
While the Knicks had an elite defense last season, they sometimes struggled to generate consistent offense outside of Brunson. That proved to be their downfall in the playoffs, with the banged-up squad suffering a 4-3 second-round playoff loss to the Indiana Pacers. So Towns' addition should alleviate offensive pressure on Brunson while providing New York with increased front-court spacing. Over 62 games with Minnesota last season, Towns averaged 21.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 3.0 assists, 0.7 blocks, and 2.2 three-pointers per game, shooting 50.4%. Karl-Anthony Towns joining the Knicks is a big deal. He's a great shooter for a big man, which helps the team's offense. His skill at scoring from different spots on the court will make it easier for other players, like Jalen Brunson, to do well, too. Towns has been an all-star 4 times, so he brings experience to the team. Since he's from nearby New Jersey, fans are excited to see him play at Madison Square Garden. If Towns can play as well in the playoffs as he does in the regular season, he might be just what the Knicks need to become real competitors for the championship. It seems like Karl-Anthony Towns might have finally accepted his reality. Karl seems happy in Knicks practice time. However, Cat's situation was different. 9 years with Minnesota, and one fine morning, the 28-year-old is on his way to NYC. It's only natural to be stumped, but not anymore. After the trade, Cat followed the Knicks' official X page more than 10 days later, which caught attention. Thankfully, Twitter has a page called NBA Alerts that tracks things like this. Let's see what NBA Alerts tweeted. Let's see what Brian Windhorst said.
When Towns is out of there and the lane is open, Jalen Brunson, when he goes to back down, we know that he likes to get in this perk mode, big body Brunson it. When that happens, he now is going to have the lane behind him. One of the things that happened with Dante DiVincenzo, he really learned angles. And the reason he needed angles was because they could play with an extra body on Brunson. They could bring the double team. How are you going to bring a double team on Brunson when you get Anunoby, Bridges, and Towns out there at the same time? You can't. So when I watched this Knicks offense yesterday, I walked away going, this could be the #1 offense in the league. It really could.